Oh, Andrew Bridgen's next, of course. Sorry, let's go to Andrew Bridgen. Before that, though, why don't we play a little bit of Andrew Bridgen yesterday, or rather at the weekend on Saturday, at the Unite the Kingdom March. Let's go.
People. And I will tell you now, from first-hand experience, you're very lucky. You've got the best politicians in the world that money can buy in that place. And war is when the government orders you to fight its enemies. A revolution is when you understand that the government and those who control the government are the enemies. And what we need now is a peaceful revolution. And the only man I know currently, I think, who can lead.
Andrew Bridgen there at the what was called by Keir Starmer the collection of criminals, right-wing racists, and ne'er-do-wells who seem to have rather a nice day out. Andrew, very good morning to you. Welcome to the Mike Graham Show.
Yeah, well, I did tweet last night that I'd spent all day on Saturday searching around for these aggressive racists at the Unite the Kingdom rally, but I couldn't find any. I found a lot of very nice people,
Yeah.
and that's the fifth event that I've been to, and I've spoken at 4. And of course, I didn't speak in last September's event because I was one of the last 5 speakers, Mike, on the list. And because Elon Musk spoke for so long, we'd actually overrun the license by a few minutes. And what the crowd didn't know is we finished before everyone had spoken because the Metropolitan Police had formed 2 baton lines behind the stage and were about to charge us.
No, really?
Yeah, that's 100% what happened.
Wow.
That's why five or six speakers didn't speak because it wasn't worth it being baton charged, and the crowd couldn't see any of that. They were all behind the stage ready to come in.
Yeah. I mean, did you notice the police acting slightly differently this time in terms of the way that... I mean, I've heard... We had Anna McGovern on earlier, who was filming on Saturday, who said that there was one incident where there was a police officer sort of, dancing with a British flag on his back and sort of laughing at a dog that had a flag as well. So I wonder if they'd been asked to soften it. But by what Sadiq Khan and Keir Starmer said before, and I was just going to say, what they said before the rally, I thought was pretty insightful. With a C, not with an S.
It was appalling, and it's an absolute fabrication and a distortion of the truth. I say I've been to all of those rallies. I've spoken at almost all of them, and the crowd is absolutely excellent. I didn't see any trouble. You've got to remember that the 4,000 officers drafted in, they come from the whole of the country. So you've got a complete network of police from across the country. And I was, interestingly, you remember in September, the numbers were so great that the Met diverted people. Once Whitehall was full, when they came over Westminster Bridge, they were actually diverted down the embankment. And they were sent down the embankment all the way down to Trafalgar Square, which was exactly where the counter-protest was, and that's where the trouble was. Yeah. And there were some officers from Wales in September, and they told the crowd not to go where the Met were telling them because there's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
So they knew.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, one of the things that you could have done if you'd been looking for hate marches was to walk across to the Palestinian march, the pro-Palestinian march, where they were offering to, or at least encouraging people to shoot Tommy Robinson in the neck, like Charlie Kirk. Now, yeah. I don't know what the police's view would be on that on a given day, but you would think that they might regard that as hate speech. You would think they might regard that as something worth arresting people for.
Oh, it's certainly threatening. I've always, as far as trouble's concerned, I've always believed that if someone's looking for trouble, if you're looking for a fight, you can get one wherever you want, wherever you are. But there just weren't those people at that march of the hundreds of thousands of people who took part. It's absolutely amazing crowd, and it was very interesting this time, Mike. There were no Reform UK banners.
Uh-huh. Yeah, a lot of people were talking about Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe, weren't they?
Yes, yes. I think he is the answer.
But he wasn't there either, though, was he?
No, it was his 40th wedding anniversary, and he told me I can't come because it's my 40th wedding anniversary.
You can't miss that, really.
We're lucky to have got that far. He said, and I'd like to have a 41st.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all sympathise with that particular situation. But as far as the march is concerned, I mean, somebody said to me at the weekend, the trouble with this movement is that they have the march, people come, they have a great time, but because it's not party political particularly, it doesn't then get taken anywhere, really. And I mean, do you have a view on what more could be done after the event, if you like?
Well, Tommy made it clear, and I pushed people in my speech, that we're in the last chance saloon politically, and it's 5 minutes to closing time.
Yeah.
So people have got to get engaged in politics. It's no good just going on the protests. You've got to get engaged. And I pointed out that when you disengage from politics and you abdicate responsibility for the direction of your life to corrupt politicians, that's where we end up in the lamentable situation we find ourselves today. And the people have got to take back control, and they've got to actually get out on the streets and start campaigning. And I know that people are disillusioned with politics. I mean, at the last general election, 40% of the population have already given up and didn't vote at all. But they've got to re-engage.
Yeah.
And I think Restore Britain is, if you look at what happened in Great Yarmouth, and I go over there for 3 days to help, I think they got the highest turnout in the local elections, a higher turnout probably than the general election. Well, that's pretty good. So that says to me, when Restore or Great Yarmouth First, as they were standing as, they got more votes than Rupert Lowe.
They did very well. But again, people have said, well, why didn't they just stand as Restore, though? Because Great Yarmouth First kind of confuses the issue, doesn't it?
Because the Restore party wasn't authorised until sort of about 2 weeks before nominations closed, and they'd already been campaigning for months under Great Yarmouth First. So it would have, all the leaflets that had gone out before then, people would have confused people, wouldn't it? So they had to stick with the name that they'd chosen when they started the campaign, which was before Restore Britain got authorised as a party.
Sure. No, I know, but I mean, you also appreciate that people are also confused about whether or not Restore Britain won a load of seats, because that's not.
Well, they weren't that confused, because Great Yarmouth First got, if you'd halved their votes, they still would have won every seat.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. What I'm saying is that are they sitting as Restore Britain, or are they sitting as Great Yarmouth First in the council?
Well, they're working with Rupert Lowe as the MP. It doesn't really matter now. I hope they'll come to Restore, but they were elected as Great Yarmouth First.
Yeah, and on the numbers yesterday, it was pointed out to me beforehand, and this might be something worth pursuing, if the police are underestimating the counts, as it were, deliberately. If they had used facial recognition, they will have a number of people who were there, because they'll be able to count them. So it was suggested to me that if there's any suggestion that they got it, or they're getting it wrong deliberately, you could do an FOI request to get their real.
If they don't know how many people accurate how many people were there, and that would cast doubt on the quality of the facial recognition, wouldn't it?
Well, it might do, but I'm just wondering if it might be worth something to pursue, just to sort of put them on the spot and go, okay, well, you say it was only 60,000 people. Well, let's see what your facial recognition cameras say. And if your facial recognition cameras only say 60,000, then maybe they're not working very well.
Exactly.
I
think it was laughable last time when the BBC said it was 100,000. I mean, experts tell me that when Westminster Bridge is full, that's 40,000 people at least.
Yeah, right.
Well, you'd have filled that more than 10, 12 times over.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, you've got some action coming up this week, I think. What's going on with you, Andrew?
Well, I've got this long-running case against Matt Hancock for defamation, which has been running now for over 3 years.
Yeah.
So far, all his counsel have wanted to do is try and get my application against him struck out. So we've had 2 strikeout attempts in the High Court, both of which has failed. And then instead of going to, and Hancock always maintains that he's innocent and he's going to win and he's in the right, but he never wants to go to final hearing. I do think he's rather averse to being under oath in a witness box, answering questions from my barrister. So now he put in for an appeal against losing his strikeouts. So now we're going to have a day on Wednesday again in court, which will cost an absolute fortune, and we're no near a further forward. But I think if I can win or defeat him on his application, then I think he's nowhere to hide. We'll have to eventually get to a final hearing and have it out in court, as they say.
Yes.
But for someone who claims he's very confident of winning, he has no appetite to be in court.
No, I imagine he doesn't. What's he doing now, Matt Hancock, anyway?
I don't know. He's keeping a very low profile. I doubt he'll turn up on Wednesday. So we'll. I mean, it's been a very strange hearings indeed. I mean, Hancock's barrister is a guy called Aidan Eardley, KC, who the High Court took it upon themselves during the proceedings in the High Court, and we'll have to go back to the High Court, I hope, to make him up to a part-time judge on the same bench as the judges who were sitting in judgment on us during the case.
Really? How bizarre.
How bizarre. And he's also the barrister that, coming back in a full circle, that the Attorney General has used twice to put Tommy Robinson in prison. Same barrister.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so when you start connecting the dots, it all starts to look a bit weird, doesn't it?
It does. But I mean, you're becoming, or you'd have to become a coincidence theorist.
Yes, I know. There's a lot of coincidences going on.
There's an awful lot of coincidences out there, Mike. You know that.
I do, absolutely right. Well, listen, good luck, Andrew. We'll keep tabs on it for you, and we'll speak to you soon, I'm sure. Andrew Bridgen there coming up with some very interesting statements on the whole business of the legal situation in this country. There's no question that there's something very rotten with the old Bar Council, with the state of play, when it comes to the law in this country.